Okay, Kitchen Table Sports Podcast Episode 4 live and on the road. We're not at the kitchen table. We are in beautiful Charlotte, North Carolina, in a Fairfield Suites about 5 minutes off the interstate. Actually, not anywhere near Charlotte. We're in the vicinity. I'm your host, Will. Sitting alongside me, as always, the patriarchal powerhouse.
Thank you so much, son.
Doing my best. And joining us this week, very special. We got a repeat customer. Say what's up to the people, Mr. Grant Holden.
Hello.
And extra special. I think just for simplicity's sake, for the next hour or so, we'll call you Todd. Todd, how are you related to this motley crew?
I am Grant's father.
It's true.
That's awesome. What a line.
It has been my privilege.
Your honor. So we have Dad Squad in the building, is what we have right here.
Dad Squad.
So Kitchen Table Sports Podcast going to be on the road for the next couple of weeks. We're doing obviously this week's live remote from Charlotte in preparation for our NFL Week 9 matchup, Packers at Panthers. All four of us happily Green Bay fans.
Major Packers fans.
Of course. So we're all here. Of course, we have Todd and his wonderful family to thank for our trip. And after this week, and whatever the next show that we do, which will be sometime in the near future, Dad and I will be moving on. We'll be doing our next remote from Indianapolis.
So we're on tour. Don't hesitate to come out. We are all about living the high life and seeing our fans.
It's true. Live shows in front of massive audiences.
Did you say fans, plural?
We did, and we're seeing that. We're doing those arena shows, and then we're hoping to do a couple of stadium sets.
Hopefully we won't be leading for the puppet show. We won't be the opening act for them.
I think you're booked at Chuck E. Cheese, aren't you?
I believe so. I believe that's our next big gig out Indie way. Without any further ado, let's get right into it. There's been a lot that's gone on since this episode and our last show. It's obviously been a little while. The biggest individual piece of at least American sporting news, obviously the World Series has gone down. In between episodes, the Kansas City Royals are your world champions of baseball.
They were really impressive. They did something that the Nats, and we've talked about the Nats before, but they did something the Nats can't do. Technically and fundamentally, they're like the Cardinals. They are so much better than the competition in the way that they can execute. They move runners. They can bunt. They know when to bring in the right relief pitchers. The Nats have a lot to learn from watching the Royals play.
Just to use the relief pitchers alone would be a significant improvement for Washington.
And maybe with their managerial change, maybe they can do that. But they just totally sucked when it came to doing that.
Well, it's good. We'll talk about that a little later on in the show. But the Royals, obviously, an impressive baseball club. I hate to say it, because it draws the ire of fans everywhere, but really made the Mets look foolish.
I thought, one of the things, I thought the Mets actually had a very strategic move. They were very concerned. You remember, they were real concerned about Matt Harvey's inning number.
That's right. Because
of his Tommy John surgery. So it's clear that they threw the series in 5 games, so they actually didn't have to pitch Harvey the 200 innings.
Ooh. I was actually surprised. Because looking at when they announced the starting pitching rotation for the first 3 games, I looked at those 3 matchups and I thought, all 3 of those are heavily in favor of New York.
Mets because of the pitching.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
I don't understand how did they let it get away?
DeGrom's hair alone could have won 2 of those games.
Exactly, and the spelling of Syndergaard's name another.
Right.
All the A's.
I know. Syndergaard almost is as good as Clinton Dix or DeGrom.
Yeah, exactly.
He really should have been doing the East-West Shrine game.
Exactly. Yes, he should have. I mean, it's just the management of the pen, the management of the pitching staff. I mean, the overall offense. The consistent offense that they have.
So they're all done. I mean, that's maybe the best thing because we're in the middle of football season and baseball's finished. So
that's kind of a depressing thought. It really is.
So what do you all think of Dusty Baker as the next Nats manager?
Are we just going to jump into that right away? Are we already done with the World Series? All right.
You're talking about the Nats.
All right, fair enough. The other thing that that I wanted to bring up, which Todd so graciously done for me, is in between episodes there have been a large number of head coaching departures across the board, not just in baseball, but I mean everywhere. Everyone, I mean, I've got a list of notables sitting in front of me, but it's just by no means comprehensive in the last at least a month that have gone away. On the diamond, the Nationals have done something impressive in the offseason. In the span of a week, they went through 2 managers. That's, I believe, an MLB first.
Yeah, it was impressive, actually.
How quickly after the firing of Matt Williams, Bud Black was in and then out the door.
Yeah, I mean, how can you explain it? You know, they bungled it, and actually they probably ended up with the better guy. There's nothing wrong with Black, but he certainly doesn't have Dusty Baker's track record. I mean, Dusty Baker's older than my great-grandfather, but, you know.
Well, Bud Black's no spring chicken.
Nah, you're right about that. But, you know, one thing he did really well was he showed well when he came out. Man, in his 3-piece, did you see him coming out and pirouetting? He was impressive. And you know, and it was all right. I think he's going to be okay. I think that maybe Bryce can like look up to him as a father figure, and he will in fact be older than the Dirty Wizard.
That's true. That's true.
That's no. You know, of course, we're talking about who, Mr. Will.
Well, the caveman.
We are talking about the caveman,
Jason Worth.
Yes, and so Jason Worth is at least 45, maybe 52, right?
So, but he will now
His
be
beard is only slightly older.
He will now be the second oldest person in the entire Nationals organization.
Yes, exactly. So actually, we like that. And I mentioned before, and I have to be a little bit discreet, but I don't think I told you. My friend has a relationship with. He works for a firm that does analysis and evaluation of up and coming professional athletes. And the Nats have contacted him and the firm, and they are now working together to look at evaluating farm club people.
Oh, that's good. Because I know he did NFL stuff mostly.
He did mostly NFL stuff, and so it looks like they're branching out into hockey and baseball.
Oh, that's great.
And both clubs were really interested in what they had to offer.
Is he doing this only for the Nats farm team or minor league teams, or for minor league teams not affiliated with the Nats?
At the moment, they're only looking at people in the Nats farm system, but ultimately they would have an opportunity to look at kind of a wider spread of players, depending on the nature of the contract that they did with the Nats. And one of the things that's kind of interesting is they're developing evaluative reports on how to grow the players, to help them make better decisions in the field and how to prep better for games, not just simply about whether or not they can play as athletes, do their job. So it's kind of cool, and that was a pretty recent development for this group.
That's good. So that's good for them. Joining Matt Williams on his way out the door, Lloyd McClendon, the manager of Seattle, the Mariners. He is gone. Not a managerial position, but Juan Nieves, the pitching coach in Boston, is out the door. For me, anyways, as a Sox fan, that is no big surprise. On the ice, Todd Richards in Columbus. The Blue Jackets are without a head coach. They have made a significant upgrade because they have hired away John Tortorella.
Is that right?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
They locked him into a 3-year deal.
No kidding.
Yeah, buddy.
How did they do that?
I think they're paying him like stupid money a year. I don't have it in front of me. But...
No kidding.
Wait a minute. I think Todd has a strong opinion about that fellow. How about you tell us about him?
I think it'll be another 3 years in the dungeon for the
Blue Jackets?
Oh, absolutely. I think he's got a big mouth, but I don't think he really produces winning teams. I mean, maybe 500 teams, but I don't think he's a man to take them all the way.
Oh man, he's like the Barry Melrose of the coaching world, don't you think? No?
No.
Do you think he could get a nomination in the Republican Party for president?
Oh boy.
He could give Trumpy a run for the money.
Oh boy.
All right.
Let's see here.
Do you think? What else you got for firings? Well,
I'm still looking for contract details on Torts. I can't find him. Whatever. Skip it. Move on.
You think he did get some big money?
He got a 3-year deal. I feel like it's like $8 million a year or something.
I'll tell you what. That's an impressive hire.
I don't remember the number, but it's crazy money. Like
it's pretty good. It rivals the deal that Toronto just gave Babbers. The only difference is that Babcock's deal is for like 10,000 years. They're gonna have him like coach until Matt Sundin's great-grandchildren are playing for that team. It's completely out of hand.
So in the next couple years, because Matt Sundin is an old fool.
Yeah, he's pretty old.
But the other difference there is Columbus is just not the media market that Toronto is for hockey. And
They have an equally skilled team and a totally inferior market.
Absolutely. You can have a life as the head coach in Columbus because you can go to the mall and nobody knows who the heck you are.
Well, not in Tort's case, because everybody knows about Torts.
Yeah, well, it's hockey in Columbus.
That's true.
I mean, you can't breathe as the head coach of the hockey team in Toronto.
Boston or Toronto or
absolutely.
Montreal.
Detroit, any of those places.
It's a totally different lifestyle.
Yeah. That's the only departure on the ice. On the gridiron, Ken Wisenhunt is out as coach of the Titans. That's not a big surprise, really, to anyone. The other one, which you're pretty pleased about. So, Joe Philbin is gone from Miami.
Woo!
Grant, you really like his replacement.
Yeah, he's pretty buff, which is admirable. I do recall
Like
that
a South Beach kind of guy.
he does. It's strange.
Perfect for Miami.
He looks like he could really be a player, and he used to be a tight end like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, right?
Well, he was also the tight ends coach, right? Initially for them.
He was a tight ends coach, yes, and they ran out of people who actually knew how to do anything, and he was like 10th man in line.
I'm confused here. Are we talking about the Titans or tight ends?
Tight ends. This is a Dolphins replacement coach.
Okay.
Okay.
I just thought South End, tight end, South Beach. Okay.
Yeah.
Keep it clean.
Direction.
Within reason.
And who else? They somebody lost an offensive coordinator, right?
The Colts.
The Colts did.
Pep Hamilton is gone. So
Yeah.
I remember seeing out of everybody that they thought Chuck Pagano would be willing to fire, that this dude would be the last guy to go.
I totally agree. I was really surprised by that, and I think that's a little bit premature.
Well, because he was the OC when Manning was there, right?
That's correct.
And he's OC'd for Luck, and he's gotten them to what, like 11 and 5 years?
He's been terrific. I think his play calling's been good. I thought his promotion's been good. He's done a nice job of working with the players he had. He certainly is the one who developed T.Y. Hilton. I was real surprised he'll get picked up.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I would hope so.
What do you think about the massive firings up in Detroit, where they're letting everybody go except the head coach, and they let the president, the general manager, vice president of football operations. I mean, everybody except it sounds like everybody in the front office is gone.
I thought this is something the federal government should have done when Detroit went down the tubes.
Offer the Lions a bailout.
They should have just essentially taken out anybody that has an administrative responsibility within 75 miles of downtown Detroit.
And then what they could have done is they could have sold them 4 wins at a pro rate, and then when they finished 5 and 11, they could complain about it.
But if you remind me later, actually, I have, when we get to the BSPN portion of our show, I actually have a headline related specifically to this topic.
Oh, good. I actually didn't have any of the Detroit stuff on my list.
My friend Mark, who is a major Detroit Lions fan,
Unfortunately for him, in a big way, to the point where he won't watch anymore. He's like 3 games into the year, he's already he gave up.
This was his cheer. After Matt Millen got fired, this was the next thing he wanted to see happen. Was actually those firings right there. The next thing is they need to clean out the ownership, demo the stadium, and relocate the team to Los Angeles, and he'll be totally pleased. Vegas would be even better.
Quebec City.
Well, but everybody's going. Everybody's going to Los Angeles. Remember we went through this?
Well, yeah, except for the hockey. The hockey's going to Vegas.
Remember when we did the show earlier?
Yeah, I remember.
Right? Even Madden talked about relocating to Los Angeles on the fantasy website.
I know everybody. You had some other stuff that you wanted to bring up.
Well, there were a couple other league things I want to talk about, but
okay. And I got that one other item.
I mean, it's the midpoint in the NFL season, and you still have 3 undefeated teams, or is it 4? Maybe I'm mistaken.
I don't even know.
But it's really impressive. Kind of what's happening. You've got. Thank you.
How many we got? How many we got? Expert.
We have 4. We have the Patriots, Carolina, the Panthers, who they're soon to be not undefeated, coming tomorrow, hopefully. Bengals and
Denver.
Broncos, yes.
Yeah, reminding everyone that Grant is, of course, our pseudo NFL insider because he just has the most knowledge out of anyone sitting at this table, I think, about the goings of the NFL.
Useless knowledge.
I mean, one of the things you look at that's really amazing is, at least I think, So you have those teams. There are another 3 or 4 teams that are very good. You know, when you talk about the Packers or Atlanta, for that matter, or Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are about 22 teams that totally suck.
So some pathetic-looking teams.
There are 2 pathetic divisions, right?
Yeah, the
How about-
NFC East and the AFC South.
The South, how about being 3-5 and being in first, or being 2-6 and being half a game out?
Well, it'll be like, what was that, like 4 or 5 years ago when Seattle made the playoffs at 7-9?
Right. And reminder to Seattle, you made the playoffs at 7-9. You are not a good team. You had 1 or maybe 2 good years. Russell Wilson is not an elite quarterback. Marshawn Lynch is not a beast. Spend your kittles on your kids and give it up and go watch your friggin' soccer team.
Okay, but wouldn't you love to have Sherman on any football team as your safety? I mean, Sherman.
He's a cornerback.
He's a safety, isn't he?
No, he's a cornerback. Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor are the 2 safeties in the Legion of Boom, air quotations.
I'd still like to have him on my team.
I bet he would be a good safety if you gave him the shot.
I wouldn't like to have him on my team just because of his massive negative Twitter presence. That's just my opinion.
30 seconds of silence, please.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care what somebody says if they can back it up. And he backs up everything.
Well, the problem is he says more than any human could back up under any circumstance, regardless of whether or not he's a pro athlete.
I mean, Terrell Owens backed it up, and he talked in his sleep about how great he was.
Yeah, well, Terrell Owens didn't claim to be able to fly to Pluto and shit bricks and I don't know what, vomit rainbows.
I think they're the Legion of Gloom. I'm sorry. All right.
So I mean that's. Oh God, the hotel is falling apart around us.
So the mid-season, it's just been interesting, and the injury piece, which you really, we got into the firings, but the injuries. If you own a fantasy team,
You hate life. You hate life. If you
had a top 5 running back, he's dead.
Yeah,
he's
gone.
broken.
I mean, if you play fantasy, you've had a major injury to one of your starters that has made them sit for any length of time. So let's see, who have you lost significantly?
Before the season started, I spent a 5th round pick on Jordy Nelson. Yeah, we all know how that turned out.
Nah, if you have, if you got a running back, if you got Jamal Charles, you're dead. If you've got DeMarco Murphy, you're dead. If
He
you've
wasn't
got
gone for that long.
Le'Veon Bell, he's dead.
That's bad.
He's dead.
When I lost Ben, Roethlisberger, which
Big
was
Ben's dead. Yeah.
sad. Everybody.
You got lots of broken guys.
Lots of broken guys.
You had to really draft well deep in the round. Or
If you had Steve Smith.
it's gone.
Yep.
Play weekly fantasy. Change your team.
If you go online right now to www.draftduel.com and enter promo code FANKINGS, you can put in 4 cents and win $268 billion guaranteed with no effort. I did it. Now I'm in a terrible commercial and I hate my life.
Or promo code Grant and Dad. You can do that, and you can get a automatic berth in our game called Will and Dad.
Amazing! What a deal!
Wow.
It's true. The ads have permeated even this deep, deep, dark level of the internet. It's terrible. I mean, the list can go on and on. I'm only at the B's. Here's Harvin if you're in PPR. Sammy Watkins if you're in PPR. I mean, those are...
Promo card.
Can't even say it. He's had 5 beers. Just give up, dude.
Is this when we segue into bad commercials? Like Ditka as a Packer?
You brought this up earlier. You want to talk about Ditka as a Packer and how he's ruined his legacy.
I mean, the man, prior to that commercial, he could not buy himself a drink in Chicago. All he had to do was walk into a bar, and he'd have the whole bar buying him drinks. Now he cannot show his face in Chicago. I just don't understand that. I mean, he goes from those wonderful Levitra commercials, the boner pill that nobody's ever heard of. He goes from there to these commercials, which, by the way, I can't even remember what the hell the commercial is for.
McDonald's.
You think it's for McDonald's?
I
thought
know
it was
is.
for Bud Light.
No, I know it is.
All right, I can't even remember, but I remember the image of Ditka in a Packers sweater, which as a Packers fan, I like. I like Ditka.
It's repulsive. I as well am a Packers fan, and I might have thrown up a little when I saw that.
Yeah, I did in my mouth, just a little bit, right?
I legit thought it was hilarious. I think it's great. I think it's totally funny. I would have the exact same reaction if I saw Jeter in a Sox jersey. I would laugh my ass off. And if I saw like if I saw PK Subban in a Leafs jersey, I'd probably kick my TV.
Right.
I'd probably put a hole in it.
Or Tiger playing for the Euros in the Ryder Cup.
Oh, please. Tiger playing tennis.
Okay.
That would be funny.
So, that probably covers the NFL. Good enough for us,
Listen,
right?
the whole NFL is injured. That's the story.
That is the story. And we are, which we'll speak about maybe a little bit later, why the topic is why the Canadian Football League is the primary opportunity for NFL players to get into the league.
It's the new developmental league.
It is
Skip the
new
NCAA,
development
go to the CFL. I'm about it.
Talking about developmental leagues, we hate the NBA. I don't think we've ever said that before more than, 10 or 15 times.
Hey, Dad, how do we feel about the NBA?
The NBA really sucks and it's boring, and we really don't like it. But I wanted to share this all with you, this special moment. LeBron James scored 25,000 points this week,
cares!
and ESPN canceled Grantland so that they could show 25 LeBron James highlights
Clips on
over
their
25 hours on their website without interruption.
No one cares. No one cares, and you killed a good piece of the internet. You killed it. You killed it when you kicked out Bill Simmons. That pissed me off.
So do you think when Kobe said it's going to be another long season, he really was talking about LeBron's highlights?
Oh, I'm just so sick of it.
Or how about when the Clippers lost and said, hey, but Memphis Grizzlies, we didn't lose by 50 because LeBron scored 25,000 points.
You know what? I could
We don't care.
not
We
be bothered
do not
to give
care.
less of a shit. I
Thank
really
you.
couldn't. I really couldn't.
So let's talk about the NHL.
All right, that's good. That's enough. Yeah, the NHL started. NHL's gotten underway. I mean, we already talked. We got Torts in Columbus. It was funny actually when I was looking up for the list of hirings.
Yes.
I actually came across several articles. All the sports books heavily favored Claude Julien to be the first coach to go.
They did. They also had Toronto as 117,000 to 1 odd to win the Stanley Cup.
That's way too generous.
Yeah.
117,000 to 1?
No, 71,000, please.
71,000. Oh.
To 1.
Yeah, 171 and 3 zeros.
But you know what? I put a Canadian dollar on it, and with the exchange rate, it's a 1-to-1 bet.
Yeah, you'll win back $1. That's awesome, dude. That's great. And if you lose, you win like 7 cents?
Yeah, well, not if you use promo code Toronto Argonauts.
Yeah, exactly. This would be perfect. It's a no-lose situation. Also, heavily favored to go out the door very soon. Our old Washington friend, Bruce Boudreau, is apparently on the shopping block.
Yeah, actually, that's
In
kind of
Anaheim.
surprising. He did so much good for them.
Really?
Yeah, did you know that?
I had no idea. Didn't he take him to finals?
Yes, he certainly did. They didn't win the cup, though, right?
And now they're rubbish. They've only won 4 games so far. We're 15, 18 games into the
But
season.
they came out of nowhere. Yeah, it was.
No, but they
it's-
absolutely did. They shocked everyone.
He was really good. He's a great developmental coach. He's terrific.
Yeah, but he looks like a bowling ball.
Yeah, I know. Well, he's certainly not. What's your guy's name? Tortorelli.
Yeah, exactly.
Tortellini.
Well, in the looks department, the Caps really haven't made an upgrade because then they had Adam Oates, who looked like a child rapist.
No, let's not get into that. I don't want to talk about Greg Hardy.
Well, and then they had the guy with the bushy mustache who only coached for a few months to finish out the Boudreau season.
Yeah,
and decided,
best looking.
I'd rather live with my family up in Canada than coach these in the
Oh, Dale
Isles of
Hunter.
BC.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the old Cap.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dale Hunter's awesome.
The best memory that I have of Dale Hunter is actually not a first-hand memory; it's a second-hand memory. And let's see, who was that? Who did he blow up after he scored that goal and got that 20-game suspension? Who was that?
I don't remember.
I'm gonna
I
look.
just remember the hit.
'Cause I can't- it's
It was
gonna
an
drive me nuts.
awesome hit.
Dale Hunter.
Yeah,
Help me, Google. Pierre Turgeon.
He
Destroyed him.
He did. He totally took him out. He put Turgeon in pieces on the ice. There were 3 or 4 Turgeon pieces on the ice.
I believe he actually ended up missing some time, didn't
Yeah, he did. He was hurt.
He was hurt bad,
he was
and
hurt.
obviously
Cracked rib or something.
Hunter missed time because I think Hunter at that point got the longest suspension in league history. Now it's like the second or third longest suspension in league history, but it was like 25 games.
Yeah,
it was
it
a
was.
big deal. And
Was it a dirty hit? Though?
oh, dude, have you not seen the video?
No.
Okay, well, it's playing right now over top of the podcast. I'm not gonna play it right now, but you can look it up after. The dude straight up, he nets the goal, right, and celebrates. He's like takes 2 seconds to celebrate, and Hunter just blasts him.
Totally blows him up.
Oh, it's bad.
Who scored the goal?
Turgeon.
Oh, Turgeon.
Turgeon scored and was celebrating, and Hunter just comes in and
Just
blows him up.
crashing him.
Puts him into the boards like head first. And he was like standing, and Hunter, I mean, if it was game action, he probably would have been assessed a charging call. Like, that's how bad it was. It was
That was
hilarious.
before the Caps had an NFL elite goalie like Braden Holtby.
An NFL elite goalie like Braden Holtby. Holtby defending passes along with Richard Sherman. And patrolling the outfield with Jackie Bradley Jr.
So in college, the couple things that I just thought we ought to touch in college football.
Why did you insist on doing this? See, college football is something we care about as much as the NBA, and the fact that we don't.
Well, I wanted to be relevant, and I wanted to touch on some key things, and we saw
You want to talk about hockey before you want to talk about college football, and you talk about relevant?
we saw a great matchup between
did.
two ranked teams.
We did.
And it was pretty exciting given
For a
what's
trophy.
going on today for a trophy. In fact, it was our understanding was the Ivy League championship between
Can't even say it.
Harvard and Dartmouth.
Can't even say it.
I'm sorry, I was going to say Hartford, but that would be a bad insurance reference. And I just wanted to give kudos to those two clubs for having, in their respective divisions, for being ranked and being able to play. It was the first
Ranked
time
highly.
in 25 years that the two of them had played for that championship in 25 years.
And they had played and been ranked.
And who won?
Harvard. Excuse me, Harvard.
Dartmouth.
Did they?
Yeah.
I shut it off and Hartford was winning. I was like, that's fine. God, now you got me saying Hartford. God damn it.
And the other thing I wanted to bring up, because today was such a big day, now that the FBS rankings are out and everybody's talking SEC football,
Oh, man.
I wanted to at least throw a shout out to the programs that fall in the category of, I wish our football programs got a little more national attention, because to distract from the embarrassment of our basketball programs, Syracuse and Louisville are playing today,
Oh, boy.
and they both have some basketball issues, you may be aware.
A slight.
Slight. So, but they've improved the employment of. You're aware of what Louisville's issues are.
No.
Are you not?
Not at all. I don't.
How?
We don't
You
watch
own
it
an
until-
internet, right? How have you avoided this?
My computer's been down.
Oh, that's right. Your computer's been in the
Yeah.
shop. You have no internet.
Is it March? Does it matter if it's not March Madness?
Well,
In this case, I would actually argue yes, because it's really significant.
It's kind of like watching the NBA before the playoffs. What's the use?
No, this is beyond that.
Okay, so fill us in.
Do you don't know this either?
So the Louisville, unfortunately, in part of the recruiting efforts, completely
Unintentionally.
unknown to Rick Pitino, there appears that some of the coaches hired
may have been involved in some minor recruiting violations.
They possibly brought in some recruiting assistants for some of the players and some of the coaches and some of the other, the bigger, what do you call those guys that bring in the money and help pay off the players?
You'd call those alumni.
Oh, damn, that's the word I'm looking for.
And
Yeah.
I believe the actual professional title of those assistants, I believe, is adult entertainment assistant.
I think that's correct. Adult entertainment assistant, right? There was a group. There was
the hands-on variety.
Yes, the president of adult entertainment, the assistant president of adult entertainment,
Director of
the
adult
director of
entertainment.
and then the adult entertainment team that came
Yes.
on.
The extensive adult entertainment team.
Pretty extensive.
And
yes.
rendered services.
And they did render some services for the Louisville players.
Among
So-
other things. Where you going, bud?
I hope he's going to the bathroom, because at the moment he's crawling across your bed.
I know. I need that to sleep on later.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Oh, you using the bathroom? All right.
So anyway,
We're
of
leaving
course,
that in.
we do know what the issues are in Syracuse with Mr. Boeheim.
I mean, listen.
It's way less.
So you have you do like the scales. So you have improper contact versus improper contact. You have grade fixing versus grade fixing, and then on one side of the scale you also have rampant distribution of Schedule I narcotics. You have the use of hookers. You have what else? There's something else going on too, right?
Yeah. Well, and the other thing I was going to mention is Alabama's playing LSU tonight.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
End of college football.
Yeah. Whatever. Who cares?
All right.
You know who else is playing tonight? The Leafs and the Caps. I care way more about that than I do about Alabama LSU.
Are we? That's all the prime sports stuff. I got some alternate sports stuff. What do you want to do?
I mean, we're at the 30-minute mark. I don't see why not.
right.
We could wait for Grant to come back. Let's stall for another. Let's make everyone listen to our pointless drivel for another 3 minutes while Grant is in the bathroom.
All right. So at this
Or
point
if
in
it's
the
really bad,
season,
we'll just cut it out.
who do you think is the MVP of the NFL?
NFL MVP? Ooh.
I'll give you a couple choices. Hoyer the Destroyer,
My man.
Ryan Mallett,
No.
Ryan Fitzpatrick,
No.
Buddy Ryan.
Rex Ryan. Rob Ryan.
Since you brought up the Ryans,
Ryan Longwell.
can we talk about the Ryan family?
What about him?
Sure.
Because am I allowed to be profane on your podcast?
Sure, why not? It's the internet.
I'm sorry. I think Buddy was an ass, and I think both his boys are equally
They are.
assholes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's like it runs in the whole family.
They are.
So why are they still doing anything? Because they've never really had any success
No,
anywhere.
no, they have had some success.
Well, that's the problem.
Where?
Philadelphia.
No. Buddy had success.
Yes.
Great defensive
Defense.
mastermind.
Yes.
Doesn't know how to spell offense.
No.
Offense is off.
That's
OFF.
correct.
It doesn't matter. You
That's
don't need
correct.
an offense.
Right.
But I mean, he's the guy who cold cocked one of his fellow coaches.
That's also true.
Yeah, but it's
On
football.
Sundays.
Right.
Yeah, stuff happens. I would actually also argue that Rob Ryan in Dallas has had moderate success as the DC.
I would agree.
He's not there anymore, though, right?
He is.
Yes, he is.
Is he?
As a defensive coordinator.
Yeah. In DC duties. So
And he never resorted to like tripping people who are running back kickoffs.
that's true. He
You
didn't
know,
do that.
Like,
Or filming other teams as they practice. Or willfully deflating footballs.
let's talk about
Or
teams.
having players on his teams that sold drugs to other players and shot them.
You know, I actually didn't get a chance to share this with you. I talked to Mark about this, but when I was in the tire shop this week, I started to tell Todd this.
Why'd you go in the tire shop?
I actually got the front end, the tires rebalanced this week.
Again?
Yeah, because
Oh.
I thought I had some, and actually they're better.
Are they? I mean, I don't know.
I
I
know.
haven't driven the truck extensively.
So I picked up.
Fun family segue.
I picked up a ESPN the magazine.
Oh, is that where the one in the truck came from? You stole it from the tire shop?
I stole
You
it from the tire
bastard.
shop. And it was a late September issue, so this is old news. But there are two things about that are very cool. One is the entire cover is a DraftKings ad, which I thought was really funny. The entire cover.
good.
And I don't mean a DraftKings ad on the cover of their magazine. I mean a DraftKings ad is the cover. And the other thing was there's a great expose on quote-unquote the Patriot way. And it is the detail that they go into about the cheating and the scandals and the filming that Belichick and company did since the year 2000. It's like unbelievable. The quotes from the other players, you know, they talk about the Rams, the game they played with the Rams in the Super Bowl, or they talk about, you know, what was going on with the Colts game. They say that the Patriots knew what we were doing before we even knew it. They were filming, and the Mangini set up the sting for the Jets when they got caught. Mm-hmm. He was a Belichick hire as a young man, like out of school, and promoted up through, and then the Jets hired him to be coach. And he knew that they were filming sideline stuff, and so he set up the dude that was doing it for the Patriots I'll look it up here in a second. He had this amazing title, but they went. He caught the guy filming on the sidelines, filming the hand signals.
You're fine. Your head.
Oh, is that right? I'm sorry.
Every time you turn away from the mic, the sound like whoop cuts out.
Okay, and it was just remarkable to see how much anecdotal information there was, and the purpose of the article was to background that the decision about Deflategate really wasn't about the deflating of the footballs, but had to do with the cover that Goodell provided for Robert Kraft all the way back to 2007. And all the ways that the Patriots have found to circumvent the rules And you'd call it competitive, but essentially to stay within the rules and yet cheat around all the edges, including the filming. They found like 40 tapes of teams from around the NFL, especially AFC East teams, when they broke in. And Goodell had ordered that they all be destroyed. So none of that exists. But the dude that did some of the filming evidently still has a handful of tapes.
So that gentleman's name is Matt Estrella.
That's the guy.
And if I'm reading this correctly, he was the director of the Patriots video department.
He was. And if you'll dance for me for a minute here. So the other dude, check this out.
I tried. And then nothing. Great. Well, way to leave me hanging.
So, this is early on when this goes back to 2002 when New England was going to play the Bucks, and they ordered in this guy to go do some filming, and the guy went to a meeting, and let's see here, Walsh. Who is Walsh? Matt Walsh. So Walsh was the head. He worked for Jimmy D, the head of New England's video department. And Walsh told the Senate investigators when in notes of the interview, he went into a meeting with backup quarterback John Freeze, who you might remember John Freeze, Todd. And in the meeting, offensive coordinator Charlie Weiss, who we know Charlie Weiss, and a professorial quirky man named Ernie Adams were present. Adams was and still is a mystery in the building. His title was Football Research Director. He's the only person in the NFL with that title.
Of course.
And the whole thing, he had a photographic memory, and he was the one that stood on the sidelines and interpreted the film and the actual action.
Oh, and the signals and everything?
And helped radio in the signals to the defenses of what was going on for 7 years.
God, that's amazing.
What's that old saying? If you're not cheating, you're not trying hard enough.
Exactly.
There you go. So the reason I found his name
Yeah.
was because it came up on a WEEI report. Matt Estrella's Super Bowl ring is currently for sale. He received a Super Bowl ring because he was part of the team when they beat the Eagles in 07.
Whoa.
You can buy his ring for currently the high bid. Oh, the bidding closed last night.
$50K?
$5,700 was the high bid.
$5,700?
Yeah,
Oh, we're there.
$5,700.
We're there.
The ring is probably honestly worth that much in raw jewelry.
Yeah, I think we should take the revenue from the show and simply reinvest it and own
The revenue,
ring.
the negative $35 I spent on this microphone. We're in the red, dude.
Hey, Grant's back. Let's change subject.
I just want to say, Grant's been back for 5 minutes. We just continued on this because we wanted to shit on the Patriots some more.
Does this mean you're looking for sponsors?
Thank you very much for offering. We'll give you a
Good
prime
morning,
spot.
America. I'm back.
This portion of the program brought to you by the Holden family.
So we always
And other contributions from viewers like you.
That's right. Well, it is brought by the Holden family because
It
we're
is, 'cause
sitting
they
in the
brought us
Holden's
out
room.
here, yeah.
Totally cool.
Yeah.
So we always do a segment on alternate sports. You might remember, Will.
We do.
You want to talk about motorsports?
I would
happened?
love to talk about motorsports. There is, at the last episode, I was like, there's nothing going on in motorsports because it's the end of the year. Oh, how that was hyperbole, because now there is everything going on. And I will talk about only a select few different genres very briefly so as not to bore everyone else, because I'm really the only one who wants to talk about this, and I'm going to talk about it anyway.
Todd will help. He'll bounce off you.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. So it is getting to be the end of the year for NASCAR. Race for the chase, whatever. Whatever the playoffs are, whatever the damn thing's called.
Chase for the race.
I believe it's Chase for the Sprint Cup.
No, chase for the race.
All right.
A walk to remember.
A walk to remember. They're going on right now, and I don't care enough to tell you who's in the lead because I don't watch NASCAR. But I will tell you it's going on enough, and I'm like tuned in enough to kind of know what's going on, and that they're down to 4 guys who I believe are Logano, Keselowski, Gordon. Ooh, maybe one more. And those could be totally wrong. I honestly don't know. I'm pretty sure the only 2 I'm confident about are Logano and Jeff Gordon, who's retiring at the end of this year. And the big news story that's been the most recent was Kyle, not Kurt Busch, intentionally dumping Logano in the middle of the race.
Which he got fined or suspended for, right?
I believe he was fined for it. But I mean, knocked Logano out of the race, and Logano at that point had won 2 poles and 2 races in a row. And He hadn't won pole, but I think he got second in qualifying, and then he got a DNF. So that seriously hurt his points. Thanks for that, Dad. Right into the mic. There's beer in the mic now. But yeah, obviously Logano took a hit because he's not there. So anyways, that's going on. I believe there's 2 races left in the chase.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So those are going on, and they are... Couldn't tell you where they're at. Don't care.
And you talked about Logano incident.
Just now, while you were in the bathroom.
Have they run the Kotex 500 yet?
I don't know.
That's the race Larry, the cable guy, supports.
Oh, good. Perfect. Shifting gears a little bit. A little more international spec. That's good. Thank you. Recently, the 16th and 17th, actually, well, it's irrelevant. The 16th round of 19 of the Formula One World Championship took place at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas.
Right.
Really?
Upon which there was a dominant showing from Lewis Hamilton, who has now won his 3rd F1 World Championship. That might not sound like a lot, but let me tell you, it puts him in some rare air.
That's like Fittipaldi and Senna company.
It is. It is amazing. So, hold on a second. Let me look and see what the actual list is, because of course I didn't think to pull it up. List of multiple champs.
You're talking about, like Graham. You're talking about...
Well, not Graham, but...
you
talk about, all, the old...
The old guys,
Schumacher.
Right? Yes.
So, oh, wait a minute. This isn't right. By season. I don't want this by season. I want this by driver. Oh, come off it. Where'd it go? By nationality?
We're having a little technical.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Here we go.
Now.
So this
with our research department.
Yeah, our research department, who I'm also the production department, all at once. So this guys who have won 3 championships: Lewis Hamilton now, 08, 14, and 2015.
Okay.
Senna, Nelson Piquet, Niki Lauda.
Oh yeah.
Sir Jackie Stewart, Sir Jack Brabham, all won 3 championships. That in and of itself is excellent company. Sebastian Vettel, the only other current driver on the list, has won 4. Vettel is excellent, and he won a streak of 3 in a row. Or actually 4 in a row, 10, 11, 12, and 13.
Who was he driving for, Will?
Vettel?
No.
Hamilton?
No.
Who?
The guy who just won.
Hamilton?
Hamilton.
I just said that. You're geezing out.
But I meant the other Hamilton.
Hamilton currently drives for McLaren Mercedes. His last 2 have been with McLaren Mercedes.
All right.
Or no, Petronas. Petronas AMG Mercedes. Excuse me. Not McLaren Mercedes. They haven't won in a million years. Vettel has won 4. Alain Prost also won 4, the Frenchman. Juan Manuel Fangio has won 5. That's way back in the day. And Michael Schumacher has won 7 championships.
Yeah.
But that's...
he wasn't just a dominant driver. He had amazing team support.
From Ferrari, who now is...
It is the ultimate money sport. Whoever has the most money wins.
It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's been, Ferrari sport for so long, and now with the dominance from Mercedes, it's, I don't know.
Hey, now who's the guy in the coma, or not in the coma, but who had the serious injury? Was that Schumacher?
Well, that was Lauda all those years ago.
No. He had like a skiing injury and is almost vegetative or really had a lot of brain damage.
Does not ring a bell.
Yeah.
I know.
Isn't that how, kind of beside the point, isn't that how Sonny and Cher died
Got You,
a
Babe.
skiing accident?
Absolutely, it is. Ran into a tree or something.
Oh, there you go.
Wow. Like John Denver.
Yeah, exactly. The other... Jesus.
Hey, what's happening in drifting?
I was just trying to get to that.
I was giving you a segue, man.
I know.
I know.
John Denver?
Oh, shut up about John Denver. I'm not even giving you the mic anymore. I'll write notes over there. Really quick. So as we know, it's been no surprise. We already talked about it. Frederick Osbo is your Formula Drift pro and global champion. No surprise there. And also over in Japan, D1 Grand Prix is wrapped up. Masahiro Kawabata is your champion in D1 Grand Prix, which he's an old dude. I mean, he's like an OG of Japanese drifting.
And what were you watching earlier this morning?
Oh, that wasn't live.
Australia.
That was taped. I was watching V8 Supercars, but that,
Please define old dude, because when you defined old dude at my house, I needed to bitch slap you. 45. That's a little more reasonable.
He's 45. The thing that I wanted to talk about...
Anything older than his teddy bear.
Yeah, whatever. The teddy bears are older than you are. Is that Formula D has announced their 2016 schedule Hot ticket. I know you all, the three of you all look thrilled. Got one on the phone, one taking a nap, and one writing a note.
Formula D?
Yeah, exactly.
What is Formula D, please?
That's the top spec U.S. Pro Drifting Series.
That's a sport.
It is a sport.
Interesting. Can we talk about chess?
All the usual stops are there. The big announcement, other than they're going to Japan and they're doing a whole another series in Canada, is that there was talk that Irwindale was getting torn down at the end of the year.
Right.
They're going back.
They are going back. Is that right?
Irwindale lives,
Oh,
and it
that's
is
cool.
the season ender again next year, which is good news. So that
When we
that'll
were
be in October.
recently, we were out in Indianapolis. Remember? And,
Yes. We're going back.
We are going back. But one of the things that was kind of neat, they don't drift at Indy, but I didn't realize they had a road track inside the Indy Speedway.
And they run Formula One there.
And they run F1.
They have in the past, anyway.
Yeah. They also have a golf course that runs through the track. So
True,
that's kind
in
of
the
weird.
infield.
There's 3 holes in the infield.
Did I tell you about
that
No.
Pete Dyery designed the course, and so I had to get a PGA comment in.
Just slavish devotion to golf.
And so they have this amazing thing where you like play on part of the racetrack.
It's true. We saw it. I saw it with my own
So
eyes.
I just wanted to share that all with you.
Thanks. Moving on. What you got over there in the world of Sepak tekraw?
Sepak tekraw, we like to talk about it, but unfortunately, there's no new news really since the SEA Games in Singapore in June. So we've talked about that in the previous podcast, so I'm really not going to chat about that. And the other issue, as you know, we've chatted about hurling before, and we're just in the beginning of the hurling season, and there's really not a whole lot to report. We still support both Kilkenny and Cork, and believe that they're strong in their divisions, but time will tell. We've got to wait another month really to see how it plays out.
Cork sounds pretty tough to beat right now.
That is a really insightful comment, and that's how we feel about it. What is it about Cork that you think really is challenging?
I would not know the first thing. I have no idea where Cork is. I don't know what it is.
It's the County Cork in Ireland.
It's what you put in a wine bottle, right?
I wouldn't know anything about that.
And it's
Okay,
also
sure.
if you make adjustments to your sticks, that's also how you load your sticks, just like in baseball. Cork a bat, cork a stick.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, they cork sticks.
They cork sticks, right? Makes their sticks quicker. Right.
Rim shot.
I couldn't tell if that was a joke.
So in terms of other alternate stuff, I did want to mention briefly because we made this joke about DraftKings and FanDuel.
Enter promo code KingDuel now for 15% off and win $15 million guaranteed. This promotional message brought to you by FanDuel Draft King Duel. The people upstairs are running around their room. Oh my god.
They're upset.
They're stomping on the floor because we're screaming about Fan Kings.
They want in.
They're ready to enter promo code now.
Promo code Candlewood Inns.
Promo code stomp on your floor. Shut the hell up.
So recently I took a road trip and went up to Delaware, which is one of the few places in the U.S. where you can gamble on football outside of Las Vegas.
Legally,
that's correct.
gotta specify that.
And thank you for adding that. And it's just kind of interesting to go to Dover, and they only do parlays there, but they do in fact have an active gambling opportunity there. If you want to do pro football, it's a little awkward because, as you know, parlay means you got to bet on 2 teams. You can't bet one up, and they're a little restrictive on some of their odds, so it's not nearly as good as the shore sites. But if you're not doing the FanDuel thing or the DraftKings thing,
Yes.
I thought you might have another promo code you wanted to throw in
No,
there.
I'm saving that for the end.
Then it certainly is an option if you're on the East Coast until New Jersey convinces the federal legislatures to allow
Use
it.
promo code legalize it now.
And
And then when they use legalize it 4 times, then they gotta start adding numbers to it, and then it becomes legalize at 420.
the only other alternate sport thing I wanted to talk
They didn't
about,
get it.
So
I appreciate it. I appreciated that.
I just thought, kind of before we get to BSPN,
Yes.
I thought that you, in particular, might be interested to know that this week the selections were made from the nominations for this year's entrance into the Toy Hall of Fame.
God.
Now, I don't have...
You want to talk about... I'll get a Hall of Fame back at you when you're done.
In New York has 20 Hall of Fames, the state of New York.
Only?
Only 20 Hall of Fames.
Dude, what a pleb state. Step it up, New York. Calling you out.
But I did want to share with you... I don't have a list of all the nominees because it's blocked, actually.
Grant, are you taking a nap right now?
No, I think I might have fleas.
So, but I will share with you who some of the nominees were, and I encourage our guests to please offer their opinions about who they think actually was selected.
Dude, all three of us. Because I have no clue. This is a guessing game now, isn't it?
In the Toy Hall of Fame this year, Wiffle Ball was nominated.
Solid nomination.
Spinning Top.
Spinning Top, not so much.
American Girl Dolls.
Boo.
Corporate sellouts.
Coloring Book.
Oh, that's okay. If you go outside the lines.
Just generic coloring book.
Jenga.
Oh, one of the best games ever.
Dude, Jenga's hype.
And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Teenage
No way,
Mutant
no
Ninja
way.
Turtles. So quick segue. I just wanted to tell everyone that I have a poster hanging up in my bedroom that is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles poster that just says, "Say no to drugs, say yes to pizza." It's glorious. If you ever, there's an image now. You need to look at it. It's beautiful.
I'm sorry your mother and I hung that up.
No, dude. I'm not even letting you take credit for that. I hung that up.
He also, in his room, has in his childhood room, has a large tree which is painted from the walls up to the ceiling. There's mushrooms growing underneath it, and there's kind of a tree house look underneath it.
The mushrooms are only growing there because they're actually fungus growing in the wall because I don't clean my room.
Other nominees this year included Hand Puppets, Twister,
Yeah, Twister.
Okay.
and Super Soaker.
Okay, Super Soaker and Twister's
You
great.
ever play
That's
Twister
a
with a
good
colorblind
Twister
dude?
after using a Super Soaker? Fabulous fun.
I was gonna say, have you ever played Twister with a colorblind dude? That's fun.
So, anybody want to take a guess on who the selectees were?
How many?
3.
Twister, Twister, Twister.
Twister, Jenga, American Girl Doll.
Ooh.
How many did I?
Son?
Wiffle ball, Jenga, and yeah, coloring books.
And Coloring Book. I tell you
Although
what.
I really like Hand Puppet as the dark horse.
Well, I have to tell you, because I think there's some. Before I actually give you the answer, let me.
What about Todd?
He did.
Oh, did he
I'm
look?
good. Twister 3 times.
Let me share with you some of the current
Inductees.
inductees. Thank you very much.
You're welcome,
The
Mr.
Hall
Beer.
of Fame. The Hall of Fame dates back to the middle '90s. So let me just share with you just a few of the current inductees who are in. Alphabet Blocks,
Monopoly.
Checkers,
Dying over there.
Atari 2600 game system,
Yo! Oh my gosh.
G.I. Joe,
Okay.
Cool.
a baby doll,
A baby doll.
Candyland, a box.
What?
No lie.
Box?
Actually, I think technically it's cardboard box is the entry.
You're shitting me.
Nah,
Cardboard boxes are the best toys of all time.
Oh dear.
ball,
Just generic ball.
easy bake oven,
Okay.
Fabulous unless you have to eat that shit.
big wheel, right? Big
Oh.
wheel, cool toy, right?
Cool toy. I was
Totally
like
cool
3
toy.
years too old. Never enjoyed a
Yeah.
big wheel. Always wanted one.
Here's
Too big.
Here's one that us old timers were gonna like. Blanket,
Oh yeah.
right?
Dude, shouts to Blanket in the Hall of Fame.
Dollhouse,
Yeah.
Hot Wheels,
Awesome.
right? Right?
I'm waiting for Risk. The best.
Bubbles, the
Take
kind you blow.
Oh yeah.
At this point, I just want to remind everyone that we are still a sports podcast.
Dominoes. I
No,
only have a
we
couple
clearly-
more. Barbie, Crayola crayons, Erector set, Etch-a-Sketch, Bicycle, Jacks, Yo-Yo, and Hula Hoop are some of your inductees in the current
Jacks.
Hall of Fame.
Can I just make a comment here and interrupt?
No.
Okay.
And
Feel free, go ahead.
the winners this year.
Oh, never mind.
Oh, well, we'll get to the point.
You try. That's what's important.
Dark Horse hand puppet.
Yo, yes! Called it.
Twister.
Awesome.
Okay.
How about that? Twister noted, and I actually have the release from the Toy Hall of Fame. Twister is noted in particular because it's the first game which uses humans as the playing pieces.
What's
Oh,
the second
yeah.
game that uses humans as the playing pieces?
I don't think that's important.
What happened to like tag?
Super Soaker.
Yeah, Super Soaker.
Super Soaker.
Respect.
Designed by a nuclear physicist who was actually working for NASA at that time.
No one caught any of that.
Super Soaker. Totally.
Dude, shouts to Super Soaker. I'm glad you brought up the Toy Hall of Fame because I'm going to get things sort of back on track very briefly with another thing that no one else sitting at this table cares about. Because I was recently made aware, and by recently I mean yesterday, of the existence of the BMX Hall of Fame.
No way.
Around since 2009.
Is that right?
And the reason I know this was because yesterday, if you're into BMX, you already know this, which means that no one who listens to this show knows about this. There's a group that compiles BMX content from all over the internet called The Come Up. If you go to thecomeup.com,
Yeah.
Right.
shouts to thecomeup.com, best BMX site on the internet. They do something called The Come Up TV, where they interview
Right.
various BMXers from both the present and the past, and they interviewed Brian Blyther, who's one of the
Okay.
original, one of the innovators of BMX as we
BMX.
know it.
Right.
And he was recently inducted into the BMX Hall of Fame.
No kidding.
Yes,
Shout
he
out
was.
to him. Good for him.
He's been on the ballot for 5 years.
That's awesome.
So it's
So
good.
he was voted in by the Veterans Committee?
Presumably, I have no clue. I don't know how that works. But the other thing
That's
that I
how
wanted
Blanket got in, by the way.
how Blanket got it. The other thing that I want to bring up now, because now that I've brought up BMX, so Fox Sports is currently, they have a new internet show called The Maestro,
Okay.
and they've highlighted several various sports
I don't think I've
personalities.
seen this.
Yeah, I think they've done Manziel, and I think they did.
If you cut your cable, you can't get it, right?
I don't know actually.
All right.
I think they did Manziel, and I think they did they did one of the big hockey players. I think they met it on Oshie. They did our man Randall Cobb, which
Oh,
is
no kidding.
which is how it registered on my radar.
Awesome.
But their most recent episode was about Nigel Sylvester, who is seen by many, both in and out of the industry, as the sort of the ambassador of BMX to the masses.
All right.
Because we haven't really, skateboarding has become very popular, but BMX has sort of, since Dave Mirra, who sort of stopped doing that in about 2007, BMX has kind of fallen back off the map.
Right.
So if you
Yeah.
haven't already, go check out the Maestro. At least go watch it for Randall Cobb. And if you're still intrigued, go watch the episode on Nigel Sylvester, because Nigel is a great dude.
All right.
He's been a real positive force in BMX. And is
It's
pretty
cool.
he's a
Ride
cool
your
guy.
bike.
Ride your bike.
Is he an Aussie?
No, he's a black dude from New York. I think he's from New York anyway. He lives there now. I would assume he's from New York.
Named Nigel.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's all right.
No, I mean, yeah.
Deep sentiments from Grant.
I think we're ready to go to BSPN.
Our favorite part of the show. BSPN.
So you all recall that BSPN, in fact, is our spoof on ESPN, where we have identified or found headlines, which are sports headlines typically, and we've mixed them with headlines that could have been written but perhaps are not as true, and we ask our other shared co-hosts
Oh,
to identify the true ones from the not true ones. And we have, this is not an original idea, but we have a lot of fun with it anyway.
I'm pretty sure it's an original idea.
Okay.
Claiming credit right now.
All right.
Calling out everybody
Who
else.
else has been
Copyright.
your guest host other than the two suckers that are sitting here?
That's it. You're looking at it.
Okay. I just wanted to get
So
Eventually, we're gonna get Toby on the
I
show.
have 4 sets.
Oh, dude, I
how
only
about
have
you?
3. So you need to go first.
All right. So
Also, I love how you got right up on the mic to say that, and then backed away, and now no one can hear you.
I'm totally sorry about that.
You tried.
Mr. Producer.
Thanks.
So, I'll just use some segue opportunities. So we talked a little bit about the issues about the Patriots and modification
We
of the
did.
equipment.
We did.
So of the following, which actually is a true statement, gentlemen? State Farm brings back Aaron Rodgers as Hans from the Pump You Up commercial in a subtle poke at John Hancock Insurance based in Boston. Or,
That was one headline.
that is a headline.
God, that was long.
The Bills put air pumps at the entrance to the team store before the Pats came to town before the game, or the Aussies overinflate their rugby balls and egos for national passion. One of those is a true headline.
The Bills.
Yeah, I have to say, the Bills too. They have nothing else to do in Buffalo. It's an abysmal wasteland. All they have to do is,
Wait for snow.
pretty much, and drink.
I'm going with consensus.
And in fact, the Buffalo Bills, before the Patriots came and played last month, did take all of the air pumps they could find and put them at the front of their team store in a not so subtle play against the overinflation of balls by by Brady and company.
I think you mean underinflation.
I do.
The sum inflation of a piece of equipment by a team in the NFL.
Okay.
That's about all he can muster right now.
You're up.
So, gentlemen, speaking to the high quality of the Eastern Sporting Network, which of these is a real headline that ran on the front page of ESPN.com yesterday?
Wait, DraftKings. Promo code now FanDuel. If you put $100 in, you get $6.2 million this week.
Guaranteed. You can't lose. You don't claim it on your taxes. It's great being a commercial.
Yes. What were you saying?
I forgot. I got to do another DraftKings ad now. They paid for it. We got to run them. Which of these is a real ESPN headline? I'm digging the glasses, gentlemen. They flip their glasses upside down. Oshie makes fashion statement with colored blades. Why LeBron's torn sleeves matter. Local MMA fighter refuses to cut his 3-foot dreads until he loses.
LeBron.
Just to be contrary, I'm going to go with the dreads.
I'm with the dreads.
Gentlemen, you have assumed wrong. It's ESPN. They're incapable of not talking about LeBron.
LeBron James.
Not only that, it was not the only story about LeBron's torn sleeves. It was one of 4. I'm not joking.
So please, I can't handle the suspense. Why do his torn sleeves matter?
Oh, like I read the article?
What
Come on.
happened is,
Please.
how did he tear his sleeves? What was he in, like, a lawn mowing accident, a gardening accident, and his sleeves were accidentally cut off or something?
He went up to take a shot, and Kobe Bryant reached up. That's how high Kobe can reach now, is LeBron's sleeves, and tore off his sleeves in a fit of frustration.
It's something that we've mentioned before. ESPN is 100% incapable of talking about anything other than Brady and the Pats, LeBron, and, like, Johnny Manziel.
LeBron's beautiful.
That's all they can talk about. Or the Yankees. They talk a lot about the Yankees and the Red Sox for that matter, too.
LeBron is literally the second coming of Christ.
Yes.
So, let me share these with you.
Okay, are we going to stall a little bit more?
Todd
has left our presence and
We
is
can
soon to
use
return.
an off one. I have a couple spares here I'm willing to share with just the two of you guys.
Oh, they don't actually count?
These will not count.
Okay.
So this falls on the category of most likely game predictions. JPP will help the Giants overcome a double-digit deficit.
Ooh. So, yes or no?
That's a yes.
Oh, here, we'll shout it out now. Okay, so are these all NFL Week 9 things?
These are game predictions.
Okay, so NFL Week 9, yes or no? JPP helps for them from 2 digits down. I can't talk either.
I think you're missing the point of the comment.
He doesn't even have double digits.
Oh, my God. Shoot me.
Boo. Johnny Manziel makes historic statement claiming he wants to be and remain Cleveland's QB.
You know what? That wouldn't surprise me either.
Ray Rice and Greg Hardy used the same wedding photographer. Ooh.
It's actually funny because I've got some other ones in here that are in the same vein.
So I throw those out. Those actually arguably have all been published this week.
Yeah, really. Although I'm pretty sure. Well, never mind.
I just thought that the JPP comment was the most clever.
Boom, boom.
So let's. I will run this by you in honor of. I'm glad Todd is back because this is. I did promise you all some references to our Canadian friends, and
that's true. You guys are totally 100% Canadian, right?
So
You're super from Canada, right?
So
Hoser.
He just held the mic and looked at me. He wouldn't even say anything.
So
You hoser.
we actually touched on this topic before.
They're
but
not Canadian, by the way.
I'll share these titles with you nonetheless. So I'll give you these choices. Ex-President Ford fires ex-GM CEO over PGA memoirs. Owner Martha Ford fires Detroit Lions GM and president. Or Travis Lulay of the British Columbia Lions fires up his teammates for tomorrow's match with the Calgary Stampeders.
I lose to Stampede.
I agree with Will. I think it's the third option.
Oh, I was just saying that you said the name of the
No,
team wrong.
no, too late. You
No,
made your choice.
Mary Ford, or whatever the Ford woman is who fired everybody.
I want that one.
From the,
No, I changed my decision to that.
Okay.
You don't think that ex-President Ford could have PGA memoirs, huh?
Well, since he's dead, probably not.
But he did play some awesome golf.
Yes, he did.
So where was the reference to Rob Ford? I missed it.
Rob, did you have a headline that you wanted to share?
Was that your batch?
We were done. Well, we were done with that one.
What was the answer?
What's the answer?
Yeah.
Martha Ford of Detroit Lions fires GM and president.
Okay, that's good. Thanks.
Well, but it is true that Travis Lulay of the British Columbia Lions did fire up his teammates.
But they're not called the Stampeders, damn it.
He's a QB for the Lions, as I'm quite sure you guys know.
I'm well familiar with the Lions quarterback depth chart.
And today they did play the prelim to their playoff game, and Lulay is their quarterback. So
No one heard that
he came
either.
back from a knee injury.
Nobody cares.
Well, that's why
Canadians
we
care.
do these kind of sports.
So wait, 2 of those were correct.
Yeah, he keeps doing sneaky bullshit like this every week.
That's not fair, man.
That gave you a 66% chance of being correct.
No, because then you would have just picked one. You would have picked the other one, you bastard.
That's possibly true.
Shut up. All right, here's your next batch of headlines. Sepp Blatter deported to Tunisia due to treason against the EU.
Ooh.
Who is?
Sepp Blatter, FIFA president. Donovan McNabb sentenced to 18 days in jail for extreme DUI. Or new charges land Hardy as cellmates with Aaron Hernandez.
Donovan McNabb.
Yeah, it's a Donovan one.
Donovan McNabb.
I just thought those headlines were really
Hardy's
good.
only wishful thinking.
Yeah. So McNabb at his like traffic stop out in the field blew up 0.17 blood alcohol content. That's more than double the legal limit.
What's the legal limit these days?
0.08.
Back in my day.
Just barely more double.
Just barely more double. Well, let me tell you something. Okay, that
matters.
something I'm technically not at liberty to discuss because I signed a form, but I'm going to do it anyway because no one cares. I went at a point in time in a place in the United States on a police ride along. And one of the interesting things that I got to see was I saw a gentleman who was pulled over for drunk driving. And the thing that gave him away was that he was actually driving. He was fleeing from the police. He was actively eluding the police by driving 80 miles an hour the wrong way down a one-way street. Was what tipped them off to him possibly being intoxicated. And when the officer I was with and the other officers who had pulled him over spoke to him, he was actually very coherent and was very cordial, whatever. And when they pulled him out to do his field sobriety test, he failed it worse than anything you've ever seen on cops. I mean, the guy could not put one foot in front of the other foot. It was comical. It was so bad. And he blew... The fact that when he blew, I think, a .19, I am stunned that he was able to operate a motor car. I mean, not even, like, get the key in the ignition, let alone drive it. Like, see well enough to drive it. Presumably, .17 is not that far off. So the fact that he gets 18 days in jail, no surprise.
Absolutely. And well deserved, by the way. I mean, I don't condone drunk driving.
No, that's not a good road to go down.
You should be in jail for 18 years.
Driving pun.
So,
Road to go down.
road to go down. It's a long road to go down.
That's like your digits pun.
So I thought it was very funny. I think Todd would appreciate it. He didn't hear that.
No, I know he didn't.
I know.
Also, no one can hear you because you pointed your head away from the mic.
So do you think that JPP could help the Giants overcome a double-digit deficit? Do you know what JPP is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jean Pierpont Morgan.
Very good. Okay.
Piers Morgan.
So, you may have heard recently that John Madden said that Brett Favre could play today if he needed to.
No more of this, please.
And John Madden could also coach today. He'd be a shitty coach because he's about 90, but still.
John Madden could coach in the way that John Madden can eat a meal.
So, in recognition of both Ryan Fitzpatrick and Geno Smith being hurt for the Jets,
Oh, no.
I want to ask you to identify the player who the Jets have reached out to come in as a possible backup quarterback. Did, in fact, they reach out to Brett Favre, Vinny Testaverde, Pele, Tim Tebow, Michael Vick, CeCe Sabathia, or Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Tim Tebow.
Brett Favre, but only if they could bring the woman that he was sexting with and sending pictures of his junk to. I mean, because that's part of the deal.
He's still in a contract with the Jets, by the way.
Probably so.
I'll take Dogman. I actually don't know the answer.
I think Tebow.
Well, the first answer I want to tell you is that Stone Cold Steve Austin, in fact, did this week volunteer to quarterback the Cowboys, his beloved team.
Of course he did.
Jerry Jones said, no thank you.
Did he also offer to throw beers instead of footballs?
CeCe Sabathia, of course, is obligated to the Yankees. Michael Vick, known also to our friends as Dogman, is available, as is RG3. But the Jets were rumored to have believed to reach out to Tim Tebow.
Yes.
To see
I
if
thought he was
would
with the
be
Eagles. I thought he
willing.
had a deal with the Eagles.
He does, but he's evidently available.
Chip Kelly's willing to let that hot property go? What an un-Chip Kelly move.
So, do you have anything left, young man?
Are you out?
I have one more.
Okay, I have one more as
Can I
well.
ask a question since
What's
we're
up?
talking about Michael Vick? Are you surprised that he hasn't gotten any endorsements from dog food companies? Like, my dog's better than your dog because I feed him Elpo or something like that? I mean, it just seems like a natural
That
segue.
would be good. I mean, well, you remember, he did all those ads for PETA after
There
he
you
got
go.
out.
There you go.
Well, that was court ordered. You
Was
think I'm
it
joking?
actually?
Yeah. Yeah, it was. It was dead court ordered. Anyways,
And if it's like our dog, we have a dog at home who eats a dog food which is made from duck. And
you go.
so,
Michael Vick brand dog food.
Well,
Has a
Chip-
big picture of Michael Vick on the front.
it does not. But I
Chip
was just
Kelly
thinking,
with the Oregon Ducks connection.
I was a Chip Kelly thing. I was actually thinking of the Ducks Unlimited connection, but
Okay.
Duck Dynasty.
duck.
The Anaheim Ducks.
Yeah, duck. If you see,
Just-
so. What do you got?
Just, I not order this on my mask. Just, Doc.
Ah,
I'll put that clip in. Remind me to put that clip in of Ilya Bryzgalov talking about his mask.
Here is the Palms. It's California. Here is my nickname, Breeze. I don't know what this is. I'm not ordered this. Just duck.
The last batch I have. Kurt Schilling's new automotive venture, the Roadster 47.
what?
That's the headline. Kurt Schilling's new automotive venture, the
Okay.
Roadster 47.
All right.
Why Wayne Gretzky made a generation hate the Swedish.
Okay.
Peyton Manning's legacy in Indiana includes numerous children named after him.
Has to be patient.
I saw a headline that said it actually showed it said Peyton Manning, 0 TDs, 1 interception, great outing, or something equivalent to that. It was actually a local headline from Indianapolis, and I'm like, what the hell? And evidently, it was so much better than his prior performance that they actually thought it was showing improvement in his abilities.
So was this back when he was in Indy?
No, this was recently, like 2 weeks ago.
But he's in Denver now.
They still like him in Indy.
Oh,
I mean, he put
boo-hoo.
the Colts on the map as a
Right.
team.
Okay, so anyway, I'm sorry.
What's your pick?
Your headlines. I'll go with what was the first one again?
Kurt Schilling's new automotive venture, the Roadster 47.
Kurt Schilling is doing racing stuff. I'm going with that one.
No. I'm going with Peyton's legacy being many children named Peyton.
That is unfortunately true. Although I thought I could get you to bite, because Kurt Schilling has invested in 7 things after he got out of the MLB.
All of which have failed.
It's really sad. I really like Kurt Schilling. It's really sad.
I I wish I could own the sock.
The sock.
That and the guy from the Patriots, his Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, you could have that as well.
Yeah. That'd be cool. We could do that.
For the paltry sum of $5,800.
So there's the rest of our profits.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. So send us money. I'm gonna start a GoFundMe. Link is in the description.
Yeah.
So
Hey, cool.
we can buy that.
You can find us on LinkedIn or on
You can check in on Foursquare.
fun.com, or you can enter.
No, don't go to fun.com. You don't want to know what's there. Well, maybe you do. I don't know. You're old and greasy. You might.
Or you can enter the promo code Fund Will and Dad Table Sports, right? Kitchen Table Sports.
What was that? It just came out of your mouth.
All right, are we ready? Are we all done here? I got mine.
Can you say the headlines, or do I have to read them?
It's gonna be tight.
Tough.
That too. There are 4 headlines, gentlemen.
Hopeless. 4?
Yes.
Okay.
The first one: Rory's driver is stiffer due to the use of kryptonite, according to his girlfriend.
Oh.
Greyhound team disqualified after Gimpy wins on bionic leg.
You stopped trying at this point, haven't you? He's red in the face! He's totally red in the face!
I just really like that one.
God!
In deference to Todd, who asked me earlier about this, curling's problems with new broom bristle fans,
God.
or hurling champs accused of mixing PEDs with post-game Guinness. You got those 4?
No, I've already
That's
forgotten
a
the
tough
first
one
2.
between curling and hurling.
The 4th one. I bet it is a hurling.
I'm gonna go with the 3rd one, curling, because I like curling.
I don't remember what it was, so I'm picking the first one.
The first one was Rory's driver
Oh, no, never mind. Well, too late. I'm committed.
is stiffer due to use of kryptonite, according to girlfriend.
That's why I forgot it. I didn't want that image in my head. I burned it out.
And who's Rory?
Rory McIlroy.
Roy McIlroy, the
Yeah.
pro golfer.
Oh,
You didn't mumble to something. Rory McIlroy.
Rory McIrish.
In fact, the truth is that this week in the Washington Post, there was an article about curling,
Was there really?
and evidently in curling, they're adapting the brooms that are used by changing the fabric, which can brush the snow and ice directionally and make the pucks that are hurled stones move unnaturally.
Okay, I'm sorry. Who outside of Western Canada gives a shit about curling?
people in Eastern Canada.
Sometimes.
I thought it was a... You brought the article! We're 400 miles from home, and you cut out the friggin' article. Hold on. I want to take a picture of this.
May I ask a curling question to the audience?
Sure. Here's a by the way, here's a picture of Dad holding the article up.
Because they are recording remotely tonight, our 800 numbers are not working. Normally we have them. So if you could leave your comments and or questions on posts on YouTube.
Yeah, leave them in the comment
we would
section.
appreciate that. Something I've been trying to figure out from curling. My son and I lived in Canada for a few years, and we got to know curling. It was covered extensively in the Olympics when we were up in Canada. The Canadian Broadcasting
Right.
Corporation has probably the world's best curling coverage.
I would hope so.
But the thing I couldn't figure out is if you look at the Canadian men that curl, they all look like really skinny wimps. But the Canadian women that curl are
like
like
super beefy.
Oh no! They're like hot.
They're buff.
They're toned. They're like
The English call that fit.
there's a term for this. The girl next door.
The English call that Swedish.
The girl next door, maybe MILF. If I could say they're kind of the MILF types. So if somebody could explain the difference to me between
That was great. Sorry.
the men and women, the women that curl are really hot. The men not
so much.
So if somebody could comment on that
Well,
and explain that to
maybe-
me, I never could understand that.
Maybe they don't appear like that to you, but maybe to the women and otherwise inclined men who watch curling, perhaps a more sensitive-looking, effeminate man is more attractive.
Very good, insightful.
I mean,
Very insightful.
It is Canada we're talking about. We have to take what their perceptions on attractiveness with a grain of salt, because their brains have been warped through centuries of
Cold,
sub-zero temperatures.
and the sheep, the sheep are far less attractive than they are, like say in the Rocky Mountains or in Australia or Wales.
Well, the other thing is because they have some ninny thing called a prime minister and not a president, everything there has to be like 7 times more PC. So you might have to include attractive, skinny, effeminate men in curling.
Maybe that's it. But if any of our Canadian listeners could maybe comment
weigh in on that.
Shed
I would
some light.
appreciate that. Maybe we could have them as a call-in guest host next
Ooh,
time.
maybe.
That's a great idea.
God,
Because we're trying to
now
expand.
you're burping into the friggin' mic. God, you're a mess.
You're trying to expand your audience north of the border, eh?
We are
After the second episode in which you pissed off all of... I don't even remember what you said, but you pissed off all of Canada.
No, you mean about the trailer dwellers?
God damn it. See, there it goes again with the trailers.
Yeah, we were actually, when we were up in Green Bay at Lambeau, not too far from the stadium, there is a building in the warehouse district which houses the National Curling Group, and they practice there.
Like the Team USA curling?
That's right.
All right.
Just to throw that in for,
Neat.
what the hell?
Gnarly.
Yeah.
Well, and to the
Tubular.
Canadian listeners, most of the culture that we see, it comes from trailer park boys, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And that is how all of Canada lives, I believe, eh?
That's certainly Dad's opinion. But that's, I mean, to be entirely fair, that would be like, everyone, which is also true, everyone outside of Canada, assumes that everyone in the United States is just Texas. They just have this image of Texas.
Yeah, but Canadians assume that. They all assume that we have guns and no health insurance.
Well, that's true. Yeah. We live in Virginia. Everyone has guns and no health insurance. Are you kidding me? No teeth either. No, actually, that's not true.
That was our waitress tonight. She was missing a few.
And
this
with
is the next state over.
I think we're ready to button this thing up.
I think so.
Wait. Talking about broken teeth.
Talking about broken teeth.
Yes, we all have broken teeth.
I don't.
Yeah, that's right. You don't.
I don't. Someone.
Oh, it
might
runs in the
have-
family. Oh, shoot. Now we're both idiots, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Yeah. I should probably point out that at Grant Todd's house some years ago, I broke off one of my front teeth on their pool, and you, Dad, recently.
Yes. Chewing on Canadian ice.
Chewing on, I think it was crackers.
Uh-huh.
You
I snap it
Yeah,
off.
Canadian ice. They just put crackers in their drinks. They put sleeves of crackers, like water crackers.
We've been doing this for an hour, and
no, like an hour and a half.
after 89 minutes, Grant has come to life. So we're gonna do
Grant's finally kicking in.
we're gonna do a 20-minute takeout segue that you can pick up on
FanKings.com. Enter promo code Segway today. Win $26 billion. FanDuel Kingsport 1 week fantasy.
Take us out of here.
All right. This has been the Kitchen Table Sports Podcast live, pre-recorded, not live, from Charlotte, North Carolina. We're on the road trip, episode 4.
We performed it live. It's just everyone who's listening to it, to them it'll be pre-recorded. But at this very moment,
Of recording.
in our immediate frame of reality, it's live.
Is that like time travel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
If you rewind this and play this yesterday, you'll get it live from us.
Dude, it's crazy. Make sure to TiVo us. We'll let you know next week on Twitter or something.
TiVo or TiVo?
Yes.
Okay.
Both. I am Will. Across from me is Kirk. Grant, you got anything you want to shout out real quick? Quickly.
Thanks
That's
for
excellent.
listening, and crackers in the freezer.
You want to shout out your social media?
I don't really have any. I don't know my Twitter or Instagram handles by name, so that'd be kind of fruitless.
If you Google ukulele.com, you'll get a hold of Grant.
Enter promo code ukulele now.
and win a free ukulele with an extra set of strings. I'll just say, go Packers.
Go Packers. So,
Go Packers.
Grant, Todd,
Go Packers.
thank you for coming on the show. I'm assuming you don't have any, Todd, you don't have any social media to follow?
Why would you assume that, Will?
I don't
Because
know.
I'm over the age of 40? That's a little ageist. isn't
No,
it?
You're
not at all. I
over-
just know you as a person, and I would think that you would think that social media is shallow and vapid.
It is.
All right.
But that is something an old person would think.
No, it's a personality thing. Anyways, follow Grant on social media. I believe your Instagram is at King of Mice. I think King
Did
underscore
they
of
change
underscore
it
mice.
from GHX?
You might have.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think so.
That might be it. Don't follow me on social media. It's not worth the time. Don't follow my dad on social media. He doesn't understand it. And we'll see you all sooner than you think
Very soon.
from the beautiful city of Indianapolis. Take it easy, guys.
Ciao.